In January 2017, the Obama administration designated the country's election infrastructure as critical. That move added federal protections, including allowing secretaries of state nationwide to receive classified information about specific threats.
Most of the information that we get from the federal government tends to be big picture, and it tends to be more focused on foreign rogue actors, foreign nations that are unfriendly to the United States.
Potential threats to this year's election include cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, and possible physical violence at polling places or state houses. Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams already has firsthand experience in this area.
I got sworn in the second time on January 2nd, and the next day, a bomb threat shut down our building, disrupted important government activities. Unfortunately, we do get threats of violence against me personally, against my staff.
In Kansas, Secretary of State Scott Schwab tells CBN News he's been getting death threats since his time as a state legislator. Now, his office prepares for other dangerous scenarios.
There's reports of fentanyl being sent and weaponizing fentanyl to elected officials, and that's just terrifying. Our office now has Narcan in the office in case a letter shows up.
Former D.C. Chief of Homeland Security and Intelligence, Donnell Harvin, warns that emotions are high this election cycle. Part of that is due to a constant barrage of grievances being broadcast, which has become a breeding ground for resentment. And resentment is a key theme in radicalization.
When they make those grievances visceral, when they project those onto you, and then you look around and you say, well, no one's doing anything and I can't trust the federal government, that's where people kind of rise up and become radicalized.
Federal law enforcement warns state officials that foreign adversaries seek to take advantage of such polarizing topics.
If you look at what foreign adversaries did in 2020 and 2016 to try to weaken our system of government, weaken our democracy, they didn't actually hack into any voting equipment. They didn't hack into voter registration and change information. They certainly tried to rattle the doorknobs of our systems, but they weren't successful in harming anything. The harm that they brought was harm in their bots recirculating information that was false and turning Americans against each other.
Ahead of the 2024 election, states, along with the federal government, are working to ensure voters have a way to confirm information they're hearing. It's called the Trusted Info 2024 initiative.
This is a trusted source, and we can partner with Department of Justice and Homeland Security to say, hey, this is false information, shoot it up.
The National Association of Secretaries of State, or NAS, uses the hashtag Trusted Info 2024 to provide real-time updates on their social media platforms. While tackling misinformation is important, a greater priority is preventing cyber attacks.
While the American public debates whether or not our voting machines are secure, and they are, our concern is more our voter lists. The last thing I want is for us to wake up on election day and that list is completely deleted or manipulated.
Despite the serious nature of these threats, state officials believe efforts to plug up potential vulnerabilities will pay off.
We've done more in the last 4 years than we did in the prior 200. To really kick the tires on our election system and improve it in every way possible.
As this groundwork continues ahead of November, state officials have one resounding complaint. Congress has yet to provide federal funding relied upon in past election years.
This money has been very helpful, especially in this threat environment of the last few years, whether it's cybersecurity, physical security, or other forms of election protection.
We don't know how much money we're going to get, and we don't know when we're going to get it.
Given that uncertainty, state officials want the public to join their fight against attempts to disrupt this year's election, specifically by voting.
My wife every now and then she'll wake up and say, not today, Satan, not today. You know, when it comes to election season this year, just say, not today, Russia, not today, China, not today, Iran. We're Americans, and it's our election.
The officials I spoke with emphasized while there could be instances of human error on Election Day, that doesn't mean fraud. And for anyone still skeptical of the process, they suggest volunteering as a poll worker. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.